What's going on, Panthers? I'm John.
And I'm Robbie. This is your weekly PHS Sports, and we're going to jump right in this interview.
Something our guest Tyler Tucker knows a lot about.
More on that with Curran.
Hey Panthers, I'm Curran Bradley, and I'm here with track star Tyler Tucker. So Tyler, what events do you participate in, and what are your most favorites and least favorites?
I compete in javelin and then the 100 and long jump, and then my least favorite is definitely the 4x4. If the coaches ever, if they ever came to me and asked me to do the 4x4, I'd probably just quit the team and I'd never come back. Just never do it.
What made you decide that you wanted to get your start into doing track?
My friend Robbie in 8th grade told me to come try it, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I've stuck with it. So.
All right. What are some personal and team goals that you have achieved or plan on achieving this season?
Personal goal for me would definitely be to win state in javelin, and then team goal would definitely be just get as many people to state this year as possible.
That sounds good. What advice would you share to aspiring athletes who dream of excelling in track and field?
I would just say stick with it. It's hard. Every day you got to go out there and run, and they make you do some pretty tough workouts, but you just stick with it. It gets better, and it gets easier. So.
All right. Thank you for your time, Tyler. Good luck on your next track meet. I'm Curran Bradley. Back to y'all.
From domination on the track
To wrestling on the mat.
we will now send it off to Kayla Perriman with our very own Coach Strickland.
Well, thank you, John. So, Coach Strickland, what or who inspired you to become a wrestling coach?
It would definitely be my high school wrestling coach, Coach Snyder. He was a big inspiration on me. Didn't really have a lot of fatherly advice from my own dad, so Coach Snyder kind of stepped in that role and really influenced me a lot, so yeah.
Okay. So what are some challenges that come with introducing new athletes to wrestling?
So wrestling's not a very popular sport here in the South, so you really got to go out and recruit kids. And so we go out to the elementary schools and do like a demonstration in PE, and then in middle school we do demonstration and do some games and things like that to recruit kids and kind of expose them to what wrestling's like. And a lot of them come out. You know, a lot of them have fun and they like to compete. So we do that every year. And so we just have to get the word out, right? So.
Oh, okay. Do you face any unique challenges as a wrestling coach to get your athletes ready for the season?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of wrestling is based on weight classes, right? And so you have to be really disciplined as far as your diet and your nutrition, your hydration levels, all those things, right? So you just can't eat everything like a buffet because you might be tight on your weight class. So you have to be very selective on what you eat, but you also want to be gaining the maximum nutrition and hydration. So it's a fine balance, and we've kind of we got a lot of resources here at Pelham to kind of help us do that. So that's probably one of the biggest unique challenges to our sport than any other.
So how would you support your wrestlers through their weight? Like, how do you support them in
Yeah, so we check their weight every single day, and if they're close or if they need help with their nutrition or their diet, I have some resources and some diet plans to give them based on how far away they are or if they need to gain weight, right? So, the smallest weight class is 106, but we have a kid walking around the hallways right now that's on our team that weighs 90 pounds, right? So he has to gain weight, and so we motivate them and try and challenge them to be disciplined, but also give them a lot of resources and information on what to eat, what not to eat, and check on them on a daily basis.
Okay. So what is your coaching philosophy, and how do you motivate your athletes?
My coaching philosophy is probably relationship-based. I believe in building positive relationships, and then that way you can motivate your players and wrestlers in a lot of different ways, right? And so when they're not motivated, you can have a conversation, you can have a heart-to-heart, but also I can push them a lot more than if they didn't trust me or if they didn't respect me or if we didn't have that relationship, right? So I guess my philosophy is building relationships and then pushing my guys to be the best they can be on and off the mat. So.
Okay. How do you balance teaching technical skills and building character in your athletes?
So we are a big proponent of technique, right? So we we stress paying attention to the details, right? We say all the time, details matter, right? And so obviously when we're in practice, we want to focus on the technique, but then there also comes time where like, hey, you know, you need to have good character as far as how intense your drilling is, how intentional you are being with the quality of your reps, right? And so that comes down to, you know, if I'm not watching you, you need to be able to be accountable and responsible for getting quality reps and building that character yourself, right? Because regardless if you're in a sport or if you're in the classroom or whatever, right, you need to be able to get good reps and practice and be prepared.
Okay. How do you ensure that practice stays engaging and productive?
We play games sometimes, right? So we play a lot of games to stay engaged, right? So wrestling can be very monotonous and very draining at times, especially when you get late in the season and you're tired and we wake up early to go to practice. So we play games a lot. We watch film. We kind of mix up practice schedules, right? And so we might go live at the end of live wrestling at the end of practice, but then we might change it up and go in the beginning, right? So we try to mix it up on them and keep it fresh.
Okay. What strategies do you use to prepare your athletes mentally for matches?
Probably visualization more than anything. Like, hey, visualize what you're going to do, what your attacks are going to be, what positions you want to wrestle in, what positions you don't want to wrestle in, right? And so when we talk about those things, like it matters, right? So when you get into that position, you've already repped it inside your head.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how do you approach coaching athletes that are on different skill levels than others? Like, how do you?
Yeah, it's a challenge, man. It's a challenge for any sport, obviously, but obviously wrestling has its own unique challenges because it's an individual sport. And so, you know, if I have a 106 pounder, he's not going to wrestle the same way as a heavyweight. And so we have to develop these unique skills that are universal, right? So if a 106 is doing, it develops a skill, it's going to translate all the way up to the heavyweight weight class. So obviously there's going to be some individual tailoring and some uniqueness in their styles, right? But the technique and the position stays the same as far as the skill set that we're trying to develop.
Okay. So what steps do you ensure that your athletes don't get hurt during training?
We stay in the weight room a lot with Coach Gibbons, and we stretch a lot. We do a lot of yoga poses and things like that after practice to try and keep your body loose and not get tight or sore, right? So we do a lot of prehab exercises with our shoulders and our knees, right? Because those get torqued on a lot. They take a pounding, right? And so we try to stay intentional about keeping our guys fresh and healthy.
Okay. Well, Panthers, that's all I have for you today with Coach Strickland. Thank you for joining us, and back to the desk.
Now switching gears into our basketball season, our varsity girls have started off with a decent 2-2 record.
Their most recent win was against Monteval in a dominant 57-6 performance. Now onto the boys' side of the court. Last Thursday, our varsity boys faced off against Monteval and secured their first win of the season.
Our very own Brenda Vickery sat down with one of our senior varsity basketball players, Kobe Heron.
Hey guys, I'm here with senior basketball player Kobe Heron. So Kobe, y'all do have a 1-4 start to the season. I've seen a couple of those games, and to me it looks like you're able to build up momentum in the first half, but kind of coming back out of the locker room in the second half, it sort of seems to die down. What's your take on that, and how do you guys plan to bounce back?
One thing that we're starting to struggle with so far this season is humbling ourselves during the halftime. Some games when we'll be up during the half, we'll get all hyped, and we just have to stay humble and remain locked in so we don't come out flat and, as what happened in the Hewitt game, have that happen again. So we just got to focus up.
Right. And with this being your senior season, that's definitely something that you want to fix sooner rather than later. What are your thoughts on this being your senior year?
It's a good moment, but also a sad moment. The good moment is this is the best chance we got to, go into the state championship and winning. Sad moments, this is the last time playing with the people that I've spent all 4 years, side by side, ups and downs with. And it's just going to be sad to just play my last games with them.
And I've definitely been someone who's had the opportunity to witness you and your team's chemistry. How are you guys working together to make the most of your senior year and balance working hard while having fun at practice?
That's one thing I would like to say is we always have fun no matter what. Through the hard times, the fun times, everybody always has a smile on their face. It's never a dull moment. we're just always uplifting each other, encouraging each other through everything. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that I really enjoy about it.
And in your role specifically, how do you hope to exhibit leadership as a senior?
Sometimes, you just got to be the bad guy when people are not, acting right. So when, the younger people, they're still going through the maturity things and all that. So sometimes you just got to step up and be that leader that they just need to listen to.
Yeah. And speaking of being a leader, you are a senior who participates in other extracurriculars such as SGA with me, and you're also in a couple of AP classes. How do you work to manage your time wisely?
I will say it is very challenging. You have to, on practice nights, getting home around 8 o'clock, and on game nights, latest I've ever been home was like 12, 1 o'clock almost. So just gotta, in your free time, no matter what, you just gotta get the stuff done. Can't hold back, can't waste time, because you really don't have much free time, so
Right.
you just gotta get on it.
So walk us through some of your main goals for yourself this year, both on and off the court.
On the court, just continue to play my role the right way, contribute to the team. If that's points, rebounds, assists, charges, just do whatever I can to help the team. And off the court, just end off on a great note this senior year. Had a lot of challenges the last 3 years, but as long as you end the right way, it's okay.
Well, thank you for joining us, Kobe. Make sure to support the boys tonight in their game against Calera. I'm Brenna Vickery. Back to you guys.
The boys and girls teams will play tonight at Calera. Girls starting at 6 and boys starting at 7:30.
Make sure to show up and show out to support our Panthers. That's all we have for you this week.
I'm John.
And I'm Robbie.
Adios.